Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Purple Door. I am the Wellness Witch, Nicole Castillo. If you haven't yet, please go like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for Beyond the Purple Door's YouTube channel. Just brand new. We have 12 subscribers so far, which I'm super excited about. So thank you for all of those who have already subscribed. Today, I am very honored to welcome my friend Tina to the show. Tina is a certified health and life coach, and she is currently the manager of the Wellness Center. She has supported hundreds of people with pain relief, overcoming anxiety, and sleep issues. Tina loves spending time with her family, meal prepping in the kitchen. If you guys have not experienced Tina's meal preps, oh my gosh, she is a pro, and she makes it look so fun and easy. And she has puppies running around her house like me, so it's always fun when the puppies show up. And she also is really into body positivity, self-love, and supporting people with loving their bodies. So Tina, welcome to the show today. I'm so honored and excited to have you here. We usually start off our show by talking about what it is that we're celebrating today. So I am celebrating here that yesterday was Beltane, so it's halfway between spring and summer. The Fire Festival is a Celtic festival. It symbolizes the beginning of summer, so I'm very excited for that. And also, it is my stepdad, Frank Jones. It is his birthday today. He is 75 years old. He is such a huge blessing to my life for my kids. He's the best grandpa ever, and they call him Poppy. And so happy birthday, Frank. We love you. We love our Poppy, and I hope that you have a blessed day filled with love, light, and many blessings, a blessed year. Thank you for always supporting me, loving me, and my kids. And okay, so Tina, what are you celebrating today?
Well, actually, I celebrated Beltane yesterday too. This is my first time celebrating, so I just lit candles all over my house. It was all that I was able to do, but I really enjoyed it. I had candles everywhere. My house smelled great. So I'm celebrating that, and I'm celebrating new beginnings. Lots of changes happening for me, and some of them scary, some of them very exciting. So I'm just looking forward to this next chapter in my life. So.
Yay. Well, I'm excited to watch it. I've been very blessed to have you in my life for the last couple of years. And being able to follow your journey. So for our viewers, share what you're celebrating in the comments. We would love to celebrate with you. If you want to go ahead and share that in the comments. So I know that today we are talking about CBD and how it can impact your health and wellness, your healing journey. So I'm just curious, just to set us up for our viewers who may not know you, because I'm very close to you. You're one of my soul sisters, definitely. But if you could just maybe share a little bit about yourself. I know we're going to be talking about CBD today. Why CBD?
So a little bit about me. I was born and raised in New York State and moved to Illinois. Don't ask me why Illinois, because I'm not really sure, to be honest. But along my journey, I had decided one day to go into a new store because CBD I had started to hear about it, and I wanted to know more about it. And so I walked into the store very slowly, very carefully, very scared, and fell in love with CBD and what cannabis can do for our bodies. Learned a lot of things about how it works. And in that process of learning about cannabis and breaking down some stereotypes and not being afraid of it anymore, I was able to start seeing more areas of my life that I needed to take action in and become more brave and have more courage. And cannabis gave me that courage to continue to step into new things and learn more about myself and just to be 100% what's that word? Authentically me. That's the word.
Yes, authentic.
So, yeah, cannabis has been very helpful for me in that aspect, as well as others. But that's just a little bit about kind of how I arrived at cannabis. Um,
Yeah. And how you go from walking into a store to actually being the manager of the store. So when you say you fell in love, you mean you really fell in love.
yeah, I walked in and I was one of those people that I thought, oh gosh, I shouldn't be in this store, right? There's a lot of stereotypes around cannabis, a lot of, Cheech and Chong kind of cannabisy things. Everybody gets super stoned and then nobody can function, right? That's what you think of when you hear the word cannabis. And so there's this whole, I'm a Gen Xer, so I was raised in the 80s when it was just say no, right? And we all
Mhm.
knew they were talking about cannabis, right? You stay away from the
Mhm.
stuff, it's not good for you. And so I bought into all of that and really thought that it was not good for my body. Well, as I got a little bit older and started to just kind of wanted to try some things, I walked into that store, just kind of curious, and walked around each section and started talking to the owner, who spent a good 45 minutes with me just explaining cannabis and how it worked, and
Yeah.
made me feel so comfortable being in the store. I couldn't wait to go back in again. And so time and time and time again, every time I went into that store, I learned more and more and more about cannabis and how it can be used and how it can be helpful and how it can make people's lives better. And I was so passionate about it. And I remember the one day I went in the store, it was I was with a friend of mine, and I got the courage to say to the owner, boy, if you ever decided you needed another employee, I'd love to come work for you. And she said, well, turn in a resume. And I said, okay. So I turned one in, and I thought I'm never going to hear anything. And she called me and, and said, come on in for an interview. And I went in. I never in a million years thought she would hire me, and she did. And the rest is history. I began to work with her daily and learned more and more and more. And there's still so much out there that I don't know yet. And every day I learn something new. I see more ailments being cured, not cured, that's the wrong word. I see more people being able to have better days. And that in turn makes a better community, which is what we all want, right? So,
Yes.
yeah, yep. So So I don't know what everybody knows about CBD, but I guess if you want me to, I can just start kind of at the very beginning with our body and kind of how cannabis responds to that,
Yeah, that
if
would
that's
be,
okay.
yes.
Okay, so we have an endocannabinoid system in our body. Okay, it's not something that they talk about in schools. You won't find it in your textbooks, but if you look it up, this is the actual largest regulatory system that we have in our body. And the endocannabinoid system actually regulates every other system that we have. So when you don't intake cannabis, you're not getting that system filled, and so it can be out of balance. And I'm going to start calling it the ECS, okay, endocannabinoid system. That way I don't have to try to say that word. Ah, look, it's written right there. That's perfect.
I don't know if I spelled
So
it right,
close enough. But the ECS is responsible for speaking to every other system, and when it's out of balance, everything else can be out of balance as well. And so one of the great things about cannabis is that it's super anti-inflammatory. So for people with arthritis or fibromyalgia or any of those kinds of pains that cause inflammation, cannabis can get in there, get in that endocannabinoid system and speak to all the other systems and kind of calm down that inflammation, which is fantastic. And that's one of the things that you hear. I mean, everybody knows what inflammation is, everybody has it. And so when we can speak to that inflammation, it can really kind of calm everything down. And if you're having pain because of inflammation, the pain
but
isn't as bad because you're kind of putting a blanket on it, right? So that's the first thing, that we do have a system in our body that cannabis speaks to. It's not just that we're out here going, hey man, take some CBD because it'll make you feel better, right? One of the things about CBD, maybe a misconception that some people have, is that it's going to get you high. CBD does not get you high. It can have a calming effect because it's great for anxiety. It can help you to fall asleep at night. It can help calm things down, kind of put you in a better mood, but it does not make you high. And so that's one of the things that I want people to understand, is that it's not THC. It's a common misconception that THC is a big part of the cannabis plant, and it can be. You have marijuana and then you have CBD. So the same plant but different applications, and they do different things. So CBD has a small part is THC. There's 113 cannabinoids in the plant, a lot of cannabinoids, and they all do different things. THC is a very, very tiny part of it. Um, you can get CBD without THC. They can pull that part out of the plant, and what you're left with is about 4 to 6 cannabinoids, which is enough to kind of help with the inflammation and those kind of things. So for people who are looking for pain relief and inflammation relief and anxiety relief, they can use CBD and not worry about failing a drug test, because they do have CBD that does not have any THC in it.
Yeah.
So that's super important for people to know, that you can use CBD and it's not going to make you high. You don't have to have something with THC in it, and it can still be very effective for your body.
Yeah, I have neurological Lyme disease. So I have nerve pain, nerve damage. Have inflammation in my body. And
Mm-hmm.
I use hemp lucid, and I
Yeah.
get it from my friend Natalie Afridi. She owns House of Hookahs, and they have
Mm-hmm.
an amazing product that really has supported me with inflammation, with anxiety, with just being able to relax and be pain free in my body.
That's
So I
fantastic.
am a huge fan.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing how well it works. And a lot of times getting people to try it can be challenging. But once you try it, if you can find, so there's different formulas of CBD. There's full spectrum, which is the entire plant. There's broad spectrum, which is about 4 to 6 cannabinoids with no THC. And then there's what they call an isolate, which is one cannabinoid, usually CBD, without any THC as well. So there's lots of different formulas. If you can have THC, the full spectrum is going to be the best for your body. So it's what they call the entourage effect. So basically, if you think about a band, right? If you just got somebody up there singing a cappella, that's great, right? You add a bass player, you add a guitar player, you add a drummer, now you got a whole band, and then it works together cohesively. Same thing happens when you have cannabis all together. All those little cannabinoids get together and start talking to each other, and it just does something, well, magical, if you will, in your body. Um, and for anybody, I can tell you so many people that I have helped with cannabis. We had an older gentleman that came in that was in severe pain. He could barely walk. He was holding a cane, walking with a cane, came in. And at my store, we tend to give people samples, right? While they're there in the store, let them try it. That way they know that it works. Okay. So we let him try the sample of this fast acting CBD oil. And before he left, he forgot his cane and told his son that his feet had never felt so good. Yes. And that was one of my first experiences with CBD. And I thought, this is what I want to do. I want to help people feel better. I mean, it's not about going out and getting high or anything like that, which that's fun too. But, it's about having better days. And because you have a better day, think about it. When you're in pain, usually you get, snappy with people. But when you're relaxed and you're calm and everything, you're not going to be snappy. So not only are you feeling better, but you're not going to attack anybody else because you're not in pain. So it just it's a ripple effect, and everybody just feels better with
Yeah,
CBD, you
it's
know?
true. Well, when you're
Mm-hmm.
in that level of chronic pain all the time, your body literally vibrates at a lower frequency.
Yes.
So you are a low vibrational person, but it's not by choice. It's because your body is in so much chronic pain. Um,
Yes.
so yes, and I have a husband who deals with chronic pain. I have been that person that deals with chronic pain, and it's a very different experience when you're around someone who is feeling good, who is pain free. That's
Yeah.
really the goal, is to
Mm-hmm.
be pain free.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it does make a difference how you respond to people. And I can't tell you, like, there's been so many times when somebody has just come in with pain or anxiety. And if you can calm that part down for them, they can start to live their life. They're not just a ball of pain. They can think of something other than the pain. Um, and so CBD is fantastic for that. Like I said, besides the inflammation and anxiety is huge. when the pandemic hit, teachers, they were coming in the store and our gummies were flying off the shelves because, they were in and out of school and trying to make it work. And we have a lot of teachers that just ate those gummies like a meal, because it was the only thing that helped them to stay calm through all of that. Um, so watching people that have had anxiety and seeing them come back in my store, and you can see that it's gone. It's just gone. And it's fantastic. I've had people that will come into the store and they're afraid to even come in, like they're standing at the entryway. And we meet everybody with love and compassion and respect right where they are.
Mhm.
No judgment. I mean, we have had people who have never, ever been in a place like that, a dispensary. We have had other people that come in, first time in a dispensary, yeah, and they're super, super stoked, right? They just can't wait to get in and see all the things. And then we have the people who are skeptical and those that are like, I've tried everything else. What do you have? I want it all. Right. So we've got all these different people that come in. We've had drug addicts come in that need something, but they don't know what, and they're afraid. And we meet them right where they are. And we help them find something that's going to help them without, especially those who are recovering addicts, help
Mhm.
them find them a product to where they feel safe, they feel comfortable, and that it's not going to mess with their sobriety, which is something that's very easily done if there is enough education around it. And so we spend a lot of time doing education, telling people how to use cannabis safely so that they don't take too much, or especially the first time. So the first time you take CBD, you want to be careful because your receptors are virgin. So we have endocannabinoid, we have the ECS, and it has receptors, and each one of those receptors will grab a hold of CBD. They fit in there just like a key in a lock. So when that system has not had CBD before, you have to be careful not to overdo how much CBD you take because it can shock your system. Um,
Mhm.
the great thing is that CBD, the only side effect of CBD is that you might take a nap, right? So for those people who struggle with sleep, this is great, right? So the first time you take CBD, you take it before you go to bed at night, and then you get a great night's sleep. And the best part about that, I know I'm a rabbit hole person, so I kind of go all over the place.
So
So,
let's do it.
so I'm sorry if I'm kind of all over the place. Um, but so when you sleep with cannabis, not only are you getting a good night's sleep, but when you wake up, you don't have a hangover. You're not groggy. You're not like, oh God, how come I can't wake up? You're refreshed and ready to go. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. So my son, who no hangovers from CBD, yeah. So my son, who is 17, struggles with sleep. And last night I brought home some gummies, and I said, I want you to try this tonight and see if it helps you. And he said, okay. This morning he was up by 9 o'clock, talking, big eyes, smiling. I said, you feel really good, don't you? He said, yes, I feel great. I got great sleep, and he was wide awake. And that's the first time in a long time. And yes, I work at a CBD store, and my son didn't tell me he was struggling with sleep. So that's why it took so long for him to get help. Because even sometimes in your own family, people don't know to ask you for help, right? I mean, you're a health
Mhm.
coach, you know how that works, right?
Mhm.
You've got all the answers and they don't tell you. Um, so anyways, I liked seeing him like that this morning because it really just reminded me of what it's like when you sleep using CBD instead of like over the counter, like Tylenol PM and all of those things that when you wake up in the morning, you're exhausted. You're not exhausted when you wake up from using CBD.
Yeah.
So,
So is it habit forming? To use
CBD,
Yeah. So like I was with an addict for 8 years, and his thing when he wasn't using was to use, he was a pill addict, so
mm-hmm,
opioids, but he would use Tylenol PM all the
mm-hmm.
time, to the point that he couldn't go to sleep without it. Is CBD habit forming?
It's not habit forming. So you don't necessarily, you can't get it, you don't get chemically addicted to CBD or THC for that matter. However, you can get addicted to the feeling that it gives you. I mean, just in the same way that we can get addicted to sugar, right?
Mhm.
Or chocolate. We love the way it tastes, we love the way it makes us feel, so we eat more. Same thing can happen with CBD, but there is absolutely nothing in CBD or THC that's chemically addictive.
Oh.
So,
That's brilliant, especially right
right.
now with the opioid epidemic here in Utah. I think we have the highest in the nation,
Mm,
which is surprising because here the predominant religion. It's just interesting, that doctors are prescribing opioids instead of something like natural, like CBD, and that
right.
seems to be the trend for the guests that I have on the show is that there
Hmm.
are natural holistic solutions for pain, for medical conditions that people have, and they just don't know about it. I think part of it is because of the stereotypes.
Hmm.
As a health coach, I know that you're a health and life coach. Um, when somebody comes into your store and they have these stereotypes about those people who use CBD,
Hmm.
how do you navigate that? What tools do you use, maybe to support our viewers if they're talking to someone that maybe is misinformed or uninformed?
Um, so how do I, okay, so when I have somebody come in, I am an empath. So I can feel people and I can tell the minute they walk in the store whether they're happy to be there or they're scared or wherever they're at. And so most of the time, I will initiate conversation, a lot of initiating conversation, and I ask a lot of questions. So I'll ask them things like, I'm sorry.
I love that so much.
Oh,
That is such valuable
um, so I
nuggets.
asked them questions like, have you ever used CBD before? What kind? What kind of pain are you having? What is it that you're needing? And then I can meet them right where they are. Some people you can tell they'll start like, okay, when I first went into the store, I started with the topicals, like the salves, right? That's
Yes.
safe because it's on the outside of my body. I'm not consuming it. So I was safe there. And you can kind of tell people will just kind of look at cases a little bit and then if you don't, what I found is if I don't engage with them, they're more likely not going to engage in return because they're scared and they need somebody to take initiative and show that they care. So if I were to say anything, just show people that you care, and ask them questions about themselves. People love to talk about themselves, right? And when you start to ask questions, you can start to find some things out. And you don't have to be a private investigator or like with a flashlight, where were you on the night of February 6th with it,
Yeah.
but you can ask questions to find out about them. And most of my customers that come in, I am part of their lives now. It's not just a job. They all know me. They know my name. I know their name. I know some people who are working on their basements, other ones that are having babies. I know what's happened at their doctor's appointments. I mean, it's a relationship. So the more you can get to know somebody, the better off you're going to be, and the more likely they're going to be to listen to you, to what you have to say. Um, so trusting, you have to have a level of trust with people for them to even listen to you. So that's what I would say. Make sure that you have, if you're going to start talking about CBD, do some research, find some reputable sources. Um, and if you don't have a reputable source, give us a call. It's what I get to do every day. I love it. I spend a lot of time answering questions. And it's great because I get to teach people about CBD, how it can work, how it can be helpful. And there's so many different ways that you can take it. I mean, you can smoke it if you like to smoke. You can take it under your tongue and
Mhm.
it goes through your bloodstream that way. You can
I,
eat it. You do the
yeah.
sublingual. Yeah, yeah, that one's
Good
by
job.
far the best. Yes. And we actually had hemp lucid for a while. It's a very good company. Um, and then the other way is topical, rub it where it hurts. So for somebody who has like elbow pain, right, that's kind of a hard pain to get to. A salve might be nice for that. For people with neuropathy, that's kind of a hard pain to get to. To get a bath salt with some CBD in it, or get an oil. I actually have a gentleman who takes an oil that's raw. So with cannabis, most of the cannabis products, like the one that you take,
Mhm.
is most likely heated. Okay, which means they've activated all of the THCs and all the CBDs that are part of it. We have some CBDs in the plant that are already activated and other ones that are not, and they're not activated until you heat them. Okay. The cool thing about that is that each way that you do it, whether it's raw or heated, it has medicinal properties. So it's awesome. So when you take a raw cannabis, for example, there's one that's called CBGA, that's cannabigerol with a little a next to it, which stands for acid, and then CBDA, small a, which means acid. When the small a is there, it means they've not been heated yet. The cool thing is it's scientifically proven that those two cannabinoids help prevent COVID from entering your cells. Yeah,
Yes,
scientifically
I love
proven.
this.
Yep. And
Oh,
that's unheated cannabis. So if you went to a cannabis store and just got a bud and ate it, you're going to have that protection.
I
It's so
love
cool, right?
her.
Right?
I love Mother Earth.
She's awesome,
Why do
right?
I worship her? Oh, because
Right?
she's amazing.
Right?
She naturally gives us
Mm-hmm.
things that we need to support our bodies and being healthy and being pain-free.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
It's amazing.
magical
Mm-hmm.
to
Yep. But I was talking about neuropathy. That's why I got on my little rabbit trail there. But anyway, I have a gentleman who actually takes a raw form of cannabis. He takes it twice a day and it helps his neuropathy. And it's the only thing that he found that can help his neuropathy, which I think is absolutely fantastic. One of the other things that's really cool about CBD is that anybody who has seizures, there's this really cool stuff. It's called Nazodol. Um, it's a nasal spray, and I've watched a video of a little boy having a seizure, and they take that nasal spray and they spray it up his nose twice, and the seizure stops. Which is fantastic because I know lots of people out there who deal with seizures or know somebody who deals with seizures, and there's nothing else better than to know that you can to put a product in somebody's hands that can help them assist someone else in stopping a seizure.
mm,
I have a mom who has younger children who came in and got that so that when she has a seizure, her kids are equipped and empowered with something that can help her instead of them feeling powerless where there's nothing they
mhm.
can do.
Yeah.
Um, and it's amazing. There's so many different things that cannabis can be used for. That's just a few. Neuropathy, arthritis, fibromyalgia. Um, there was another big one, rheumatoid arthritis, seizures, depression, anxiety. Like the list goes on and on and on. Um, COVID, like I said, fantastic for that. Uh, so I I could probably go on for hours talking about all of the different things that I've seen it help. One of the things that I find very interesting is that CBD is the only thing so far that's actually been proven to um, what's the word, reverse Alzheimer's.
Wow.
Now, this is a plant that we were told was going to make us dumb,
Hmm.
and yet it can reverse Alzheimer's. It's amazing how once we study this plant and the more we learn, the more things are finding that it helps. Like it's just absolutely phenomenon. I mean, the pain relief is usually the first thing people will come in for, but once
Hmm.
they find out all of the other things that it can be helpful for, they're sold and they're a customer for life because they know the benefit that they can get from this plant. I mean, I don't want to say it's a miracle because I mean, it's a plant and it was put here for us to use to get benefit from. We don't have to have man-made pharmaceuticals when we have a plant that we know what's in it, our body knows what to do with it,
Hmm.
and it takes care of so many different things. One of the other things that it can do is it can help with blood pressure. I actually used to take blood pressure medication and I started using my CBD regularly. And when I went to the doctor the other day, my blood pressure was normal. And I haven't taken any blood pressure medication in a while. Now, don't just stop taking medication. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but
Well,
this was just,
you
go
had
ahead.
some there, you had a professional there walking you through it, which
Mhm.
is what
Yeah,
you are now to walk people through it. So if you
yeah,
want to get off your blood pressure medication, speak to an expert as well
yeah.
as your doctor, work together with your doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
And usually what we do is if somebody wants to come in and take it that way, or if somebody comes in and say they want to take it for pain or whatever, and they tell me that they're on blood pressure medication, I will tell them to pay attention to their numbers, their blood pressure numbers. If they start getting dizzy, they may not need as much blood pressure medication. So I don't sit here and say, and I just stopped my medicine and then just started taking cannabis. It was a process. And
Mm-hmm.
so all of the things that you go through is a process to try to, if you're trying to come off of medications, to slowly get that CBD in your system before you start. And you're more than welcome to talk to your doctor. Some doctors are perfectly fine with it. Other doctors are not, because it's not FDA approved yet. So by law, they cannot say that cannabis is a good choice. But there are a lot of doctors out there that are starting to get behind it, and they're starting to see what all it can do for you. So it's pretty exciting.
The FDA, it's funny what they will approve. They will approve like yellow
Crap.
number or red number, blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
which is a
Yep.
known carcinogen, but then
Yep.
they won't.
Yeah. A
They
plant.
won't do it for a natural plant. And
Mm-hmm.
it's no mystery as to why, because
Right.
if it's something that everyone can grow and everyone has access to,
They're not
it,
going to make any money.
no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
we have a system set up for illness, not a system set up for wellness. And
Yeah.
so I have loved just having the guests on this show that are all about prevention and wellness. And it's not that you're going to the doctor when you are in pain, or as a what Dr. Taylor was on a couple weeks ago and he was talking about it, like you go in when something's wrong. And
Right.
there's things that can be done, which we know, you and I know as health coaches, there are things you can do every single day to support you with
Mm-hmm.
restoring your wellness through natural, whole, organic,
Yes.
nutritious foods, natural plants. Like this morning, I'm all about my herbs, and I was making my shake this morning with basil from my own garden and mint from my
Yay.
own garden, and just picking out what is it that my body needs today, and
Mm-hmm.
knowing what plant to go to. And the CBD bath bombs, my friend Natalie brought those to me as well to experience. And oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it was
That was.
life changing.
Mm-hmm. They really are. That was when I had COVID back at Christmas time. Everybody in our area got COVID at Christmas, and my boss is fantastic. Brought me a whole care package from the shop, and one of the things was our bath salts. And that's, I was like a mermaid. I was having mermaid therapy. I was in the bathtub like 8, 9 times a day, just pouring that salt in there, because it just was the only thing that was bringing me comfort while I had COVID. So, yeah, those bath bombs are fantastic. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you got to experience those.
Yeah, it was just the most beautiful gift that she brought me, and she brought me
Mm-hmm.
3 of them. And so also for my baby boy, when he is playing football and he comes home and he's in
Uh-huh.
excruciating pain, sore muscles, being able to
Mm-hmm.
send him in with a bath bomb and having him be able to sit in there and just feel rejuvenated and refreshed and come
Yeah.
out like, thank you, mom, that was amazing. The healing powers of water, of our sacred
Mm-hmm.
element of water and earth with the salt
Yep.
together. It's
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
it's just magical. And then you add in that plant aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Natural healing
Yep.
is uh
Yeah. You got 3 of your 4 elements right there.
yeah, you just
Yep.
need a
Mm-hmm.
candle, the fire.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Just light a candle and you got everything. You're good.
Yeah, I usually will bring my candles in when I've been in excruciating pain. Like that is definitely a go-to. I don't have a bathtub in my master bedroom anymore. I kind of designed it for older people,
Mm-hmm.
thinking long term, and family members coming to stay with me, and
Mm-hmm.
working in CNA and having to put people in the bath, um, trying to walk them into a shower or bath. The walk-in
Yes.
shower is just a much better choice.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. For sure.
yeah, but I set up like a bathroom with a bath for that reason. It's just also really good for your emotional and mental health as well, because it's a form of self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, being able to relax in a bath without little kids knocking at the door, or, you know,
Yeah. You find somebody to take care of your kids for a little while, so you get, some mommy time.
yeah, no, I have clients and they're like, they have one bathroom. They're like, every time I get in, there's a kid knocking at the door. I'm like, ask your
Mm-hmm.
husband, like schedule the time and say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is my time for a bath. Make sure everybody uses the bathroom first.
Right.
But
Right.
it's be quiet, maybe turn on some music. But yeah, so such a powerful message of empowerment around taking ownership of your own health and wellness, that it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be difficult. It can be natural, holistic. Um,
Mm-hmm.
with my Lyme disease journey, there was a point that I could barely walk. I had a foot drop. So my foot was stuck
Oh gosh.
stuck down. So I couldn't bend my toes up. I couldn't cross my legs. I could barely walk up the stairs. I would still walk upstairs just to show that I could. But the natural healing powers of good nutrition, good water, and exercise.
Yep.
It's a
All the
real
things that people don't want to do.
yeah. I love it. I haven't been on medications. I haven't been on neuropathy medication. Everything that I have done has been natural and holistic. It saved me a lot of money. I think that people think of wellness and, you know, eating healthy food is so expensive. Like, maybe like CBD is so expensive. I don't know, because the hemp lucid that I get here in Utah, it's not legal. Like, cannabis is not legal here in Utah. I think you can get it with a medical card now.
Right.
But so it's like a bottle of hemp lucid was like $150. So it's like very expensive. And so it's like, but if you got a prescription for like an opioid, I'm guessing you'd have a copayment.
Yes.
And so like, oh, $150 on hemp lucid, and that's what I use. So that's what I say. And I wouldn't know if I was going to another dispensary, like what even, because we don't have those in Utah.
Right.
Right.
So, when you think about expensive, right? So cannabis, the hemp lucid may be more expensive, but if they had put you on opiates, what kind of expense would you have had?
Oh, yeah.
Over time, your body's addicted, your brain fog is like off the charts. You're looking for your next, euphoric feel, and they get you addicted to it. And then that's your expense, right? That's the expensive part of opiates. So you can pay the expense out of your pocketbook, which may hurt a little. So where the expense isn't coming from your body.
Oh yeah. Well, with opioid addiction, I have kids with an addict, and it costs everything, jobs, children, relationships, and then how many times for drug rehab, and how many times in and out of jail, and how many times, like, it's just the price of addiction is.
Yeah. And so you got to weigh that, what's more important, is the money in your pocket important now, or your quality of life?
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So it's the same when you're shopping for healthy, nutritious food. Like, the food you're buying, it might be cheaper, but long term, when you have heart disease and diabetes and all of these other things, like, you're going to pay one way or the other.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And then you get to choose what that is, right? So you get to decide. And it hurts your pocketbook a little bit, but when your body feels better and you're in a better mood and you're not, throat punching people because you're upset, it makes a difference. And that's what I see a lot in my store. We try to have a wide variety of price options for people so that it doesn't hurt their pocketbook so much. But usually what happens is once they try something, and a lot of times we will just give samples because they're afraid to try it. Once they try that, I have yet to hear anybody come back and say it didn't work for me. They may come back and say, I didn't like this kind, and so we'll try something else. And so I think that's one thing that I want to encourage your viewers to do is don't stop with just one product. Okay. Make sure you're getting a good quality CBD product, and don't stop with just one. There's lots of formulas out there. Something is going to work. You just have to go through and find what your body needs. It's just like with food or medication or anything else, right? We're all our own experiment, and every body is different. So everybody's going to react differently to different things. So try a lot of different things. Don't just stop with one CBD and say it didn't work. Take it consistently and try different kinds until you find the one that's your happy place.
Yeah, I love that. Your body is unique. And that's one thing that, with coaching school, that we know to be true, is that everybody is unique and different. And what works for one person is not necessarily going to work for you. So you are your own science lab. You are the most beautiful, powerful, amazing lab where you get to experiment and see what works best for you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where communication comes in, and also being able to tap into your intuition. How does this product make me feel? I know with food, we will have clients journal out what it is that they're feeling. Do you have any suggestions for our viewers how to keep maybe track of or what to look for when they're trying out a new product?
So I tell people to make a note, right? Do a journal, write down, today I tried this. I tried this amount and this is how I felt, right? And I would
Mhm.
tell people to only one product at a time. Don't take 3 products, because if you feel good, you're not going to know which one worked, right?
Mhm.
So you want to take each one, figure out how it works before you move on to the next one. And then once you find, I like the way this one made me feel this, and this one made me feel that, what happens when I put them together? And then
Mhm.
just experimenting with the different ones until you find your happy place, which is what I like to call it. Because everybody's different with where their happy is, you know. Some people actually, when it comes to their pain relief, like THC for that. And I don't mean THC on a recreational level, I mean on a medicinal level. I have a lot of people who take it just for that, just for the pain relief. They don't get high, they don't like to get high, but when they get that pain relief, they can actually function.
Mhm.
So there's a time and a place for all of this. This isn't just, there's not people out there. I mean, I guess there is, but THC is not out there just for people to abuse it and for it to be Cheech and Chong with the big, fat joint, just getting super stoned. You can do that. That's cool. But there's more to it than that. There's so much more to it than that. You can take it in a way that does not do that to your body. It can help with nausea. Um, it can help with, and that's if you just take a little tiny chunk of a piece of THC. If you have nausea, it can actually help to settle your stomach.
Mhm. Love that. Yeah,
So, and one of the other things that I'm sorry, what?
that's why cancer patients love it so much.
Yes. And that's where I was getting ready to go next. So, cancer is kind of what cannabis does with cancer is really cool. So, cannabis actually does what they call apoptosis, which cancer eats itself when cannabis gets into your cells. So the cancer will, because that's what cancer does. See, that's how cancer grows, is it eats whatever it is and it grows and it gets bigger and bigger. When you put cannabis in there, it eats itself. So it destroys itself. It's fantastic. So, and then besides it killing itself, then you can deal with the nausea, you can deal with the pain, you can deal with all those other things that come along with having cancer. So it's really, I just, I could talk about it all day long, but
Oh,
we don't have that much time.
that's why you're here.
Yes. And I would be glad to answer any questions. I think somebody put something in the chat. I think
Yeah.
we
Nick's saying, "What's up, Giants? What's up, Nick?" Sending
have.
love, loving you. And then my soul sister, Candace,
Hmm. Yep.
she was actually my first guest on Beyond the Purple Door. She says that you can get cannabis here in Utah with your medical card. Her
Yep.
clinic does do medical cards, and she is at Life Health Medical Center. So if you're in Utah,
Perfect.
where we're a little bit slow because of the because of the politics of it,
Hmm.
go go talk to someone at Life Health Medical Center. That could be Candace. If it's not Candace, she can find out who it is that you need to get in touch with.
Hmm.
Excellent center. And then she also, Candace is the one who got me into health and wellness coaching. So she understands that good quality foods help you heal your body.
Hmm.
And yeah, and Lyme disease, I know because that's what I have, but it feeds off of sugar. And so
Hmm.
for just having healthy, nutritious food in my life, the impact it's had on my body, the Lyme, it was growing in my spinal fluid.
Mm.
It's so gross when you think about it.
Yeah.
But cutting out sugar is huge. You also have withdrawals when you cut out sugar, the same way you do with
Hmm.
opioids.
Yep.
So cannabis, what I'm loving about it is that there's not the withdrawal.
There's no
Um,
side effects except for sleep.
yeah, and sleep right now, there's so many people that struggle with sleep.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes. Yes,
huge,
for sure.
huge thing.
Hmm.
And sleep is so important because that's when your body has time to go in and repair
Hmm.
itself. and rebuild, repair, clean up things
Mm-hmm.
in your brain. So definitely having something that supports you with sleep is it's life
Well,
changing.
I mean, I have a lot of people come in and say, I need energy. And most
Mm,
of the time they're not sleeping. And so if they start taking cannabis at night for sleep, they're going to find that they have more energy because they're getting a good night's rest. So can cannabis help with energy? Absolutely. If you take it at night to have a good night's sleep, then you can get the energy that you need from it. Um, which is fantastic because you're getting two for the price of one, right? Now, if you can't say the same thing if you take a sleeping pill,
mm-mm.
right? I mean,
Yep.
I've taken a lot. I took Ambien one time and ended up passing out in the bathroom. So I've taken a lot of sleeping pills over um, my years, and nothing makes me feel as refreshed as CBD does when I take it the night before. Um, one of the things that I want to let your viewers know is to go start low and go slow, right? So we talked about our receptors being virgin
Mhm.
because they haven't had CBD. So whatever you're taking, start with about 10 milligrams. I wouldn't do any more than that. See how you feel and then go from there. If you didn't get enough, then the next time go ahead and take a little bit more. But don't just go in and like down the whole bottle because you're in a lot of pain because you're probably going to take a nap for a while. And that can, if you take that much and your body's not used to it, with even that small amount of THC, it can give you a little bit of a high feeling. So that's why you want to start small and work your way up. A typical serving size for most people is between 30 and 50 milligrams of CBD. You can take more than that. You can take it multiple times a day. Um, and it just depends on you. Everybody's different. You know, do you need to take it in the morning? Do you need to take it in the afternoon? It's an experiment. You have to play with it and see what works best. For some people, they may just have situational anxiety, like, you know, when they have to go to Walmart and deal
Mhm.
with the Walmart humans, you know? And so then you find a gummy that's like, okay, this one's going to work in 20 minutes. I'm going to eat this gummy. I'm going to go into the store and I'm not going to want to karate chop anybody. I can get my groceries and I can get out. And my anxiety is at a chill level because cannabis came to the rescue. So,
Yeah, yeah. John Burke, he's one of my favorite veterans. And yeah, he's one of my favorite people. I don't know if people know who he is, but I follow him on social media, and he was so kind of against CBD. He's a
mhm,
combat war veteran, and now he owns like a CBD company because of the fact that it helps him sleep, helps with pain, and it's
mhm,
not habit forming. So he was very skeptical of
mhm,
CBD, and for him to try it and just totally be like apologizing, like, sorry guys, I was wrong. Like, this is, he
yeah,
loves it so much that he has his own company now.
mhm.
Um,
That's so awesome. I love hearing those stories.
I know.
We,
It's just the stereotypes that
mhm,
people have been raised with. I mean, I
yep,
know that for me, that was a thing in my how I grew up. I grew up in the 80s. I'm an 80s baby. And
mhm,
but I've also seen it change and evolve with
yes,
people learning and the education, that people are starting to understand that this is something that's natural. It's something that your body can handle. It's
right,
not habit forming. It is a natural way to support you with having a
yes,
pain-free
yep, absolutely.
life where you get restful sleep. So
Mhm. It's
yeah.
just an all around good plant, an all around good plant. And if you don't know a whole lot about CBD, you can go ahead and call our store. I'd be glad to answer any questions. If you find us on Facebook, you can go ahead and reach out. My owner and I take care of the Facebook page. So send a message and one of us will get back to you and answer any questions that you have. Uh, and that's what we do, right? My owner of the store has been doing this for about 15 years now. She actually had a marijuana farm in Oregon. Her husband grew marijuana, and then she made concentrates for the dispensaries. And so she has years and years of uh, experience with helping people and watching them get the help that they need from cannabis. So tons and tons of experience when you call our store as far as the help that you're going to get. Because especially for me, it's not about whether or not you buy anything. I just want you to be educated so that you're empowered to go out and make a good choice and not get scammed by, the CBD gummies that you see on Facebook that says it's going to cure diabetes, right? Don't fall for that stuff. Make sure if you get CBD, you get it from a reputable company, and that they have a QR code where you can look and make sure that it's a pure product and that it's not their other things aren't in it. They should have a QR code, and you should be able to look it up. If you can't, don't buy it. So you always want to make sure that you know what it is you're putting in your body, especially when it comes to cannabis, because that stuff's not regulated yet. So there's no regulation on the packaging. So you want to make sure that you do your research and then ask questions.
Yeah. These are good tips so that people know what to look for when they are, when they're purchasing these products.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Super, super important. I can't do all the research that you can. There's YouTube videos out there that talk about cannabis and how it works with the endocannabinoid system. I talk really fast, so I'm sure a lot of this stuff
too.
I think it's the New Yorker in me, like I just can't help it. So I got something else I got to say, so my mind just is ahead of me, so I'm trying to catch up. So but knowing what you need, being equipped with the information is going to empower you to make a good decision. And remember that there's more than one way to take CBD. You don't have to take it internally. If you're afraid to take it internally, you can start with a salve, rubbing it where it hurts, and that in and of itself sometimes can be enough. So even if you're afraid to start with something that you take internally, start with a salve. Try that out, and see what it does. And I know some people struggle with whether or not something works. And so what I tell people who come in, like, okay, for example, my husband is terrible about knowing what is, like, I'll say, how do you feel? Well, I don't know. So he'll take the medicine, and 20 minutes later, I'm like, do you feel better? He's like, I don't know, because he just doesn't feel his body. And so I instruct anybody who comes in, all right, you scan yourself. How do you feel right now? All right, now take this sample, and then in a half an hour, and I'll look at my clock, I want you to scan yourself again and see if you feel any different. So I would tell your viewers to do that. Scan yourself, take your CBD, wait however long it says it's supposed to take to kick in, and then scan yourself again and see if you feel a difference. And if you do, that's the amount of relief that you're going to get from the amount that you took. If it wasn't enough, next time take more. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like if you were to take something over the counter, you'd want to give it 20 minutes before you check in.
Mm-hmm. And certain CBDs take longer. Some of them will build up in your system, so it takes a little while longer to feel them. Other ones are going to work in 20 minutes. And so ask questions. So when you go in to get your CBD, ask lots of questions. And if the people that you're calling don't want to answer questions, find somebody else who will. There are plenty of us out here who want to educate you and want to spend time with you to find the product that's going to work best. So just find somebody who actually cares, is what I would say, that's knowledgeable on it. So.
I love this. We haven't got to action steps yet, but I feel like these are some pretty powerful action steps. I know we're coming up on time. I was just curious if there's anything you haven't shared with our viewers that you'd like to share.
Oh gosh. I don't think so. I think I said a lot of it. Don't be afraid of CBD. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of THC. Okay, there's nothing to be afraid of. Now, if somebody hands you 3 cookies, you might want to find out what's in them first and maybe not eat all 3. But don't have to be afraid of it. Just get some knowledge around it, and you'll find out it's not as scary as they led us to believe for a long time.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. All right. So let's maybe do some action steps. So action step number 1.
Smoke weed every day. That's what it says. Good Lord, who's that guy? Sorry, I was reading the comments.
I don't know. I've got to block comments. Sorry, this is not that kind of a show, unfortunately. But some people need to be blocked. So,
Yep. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I get for looking. So, all right, action steps. So, number one, scan your body every day, see where you're at. Um, Always check in with yourself. What did I need today? Did I get the things that I needed? Find a source of CBD that's reputable. Ask questions, ask lots of questions around it and see if it's something that can be beneficial for you. And then try it. Those are your action steps. Find a reputable source for CBD, scan your body, and try it and see what it does for you. Prove me wrong.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you have experience or results from CBD, please share those here with our viewers so that people um, can find somebody that maybe has similar ailments that they can
Yes.
connect with. But also just to support people, I think too, with changing that stereotype and that narrative to see that, yeah, Nicole does, the Wellness Switch does use CBD and I love it. And it's been life-changing for me. And it's something I'm not ashamed to share, that I do. It's changed my life. So
I love that so
yeah,
much.
it's just a really powerful, natural product. And that's what I'm about is natural healing, natural pain relief. So tell me a little bit about this website that you suggested. It's
So,
www.por. Is it
Grace.
Pour Grace?
Poor Grace. So I think so it's out of Israel. So they got English and Spanish, so you can click between the two to get to your language. But they are a research organization that researches cannabis in every way you could possibly imagine. If you go on that website and you click on research, you're going to find a ton of documents in there with all of the different studies that they've done on different cannabinoids and how they affect the body. Anywhere from addiction to Alzheimer's to cancer to just there's probably hundreds of studies in there and how CBD can be beneficial for you. So if you have a specific ailment and you're not sure, go to that website and research and see what they say about that ailment and how CBD can help.
I love that. Love
It's
that so
great.
much. So good resources that you have available for people to go do their own research, but then also having the phone number so you guys know the phone number to call if you have questions is 618-316-7010. You can also go to www.wellnesssupplycenter.com.
Yep.
And Tina, you guys can also find her on Facebook here. You said that that you guys have your store has a website here on Facebook, right?
Yes, there's a Facebook page. It's the Wellness Center. So yeah, you can get on there and like I said, feel free to send a message to us and we'd be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, go give them a follow. Go give them a like and a follow, and any questions that you have, definitely be able to get some interaction there to get your questions answered. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. And I know that we could probably go on for hours with the knowledge that you have. So I just am really inspired by you, by your mission, by your purpose, by what it is that you're creating for yourself and your community with healing, with pain relief, just so many powerful things. So you are an amazing human. I'm so honored to know you and have you here today. I hope that you can come back. I think our viewers got to know the CBD side of Tina, but also you are a champion of body love and body positivity and self-love. And I would love for people to hear your transformational story with your own health and wellness one day if you're open to it. So
I love that.
Yeah, just watching your journey has been so inspirational, and then how you pay it forward and how passionate you are about supporting other people with living their happiest, healthiest, best life. It's just very, I'm a fangirl if you couldn't tell.
Right back at you, sister. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And this has been an honor for me to be here to share my love of CBD.
Yeah, well, we might even have to do like a meal prepping show where you and I just hang
Yeah,
out in the kitchen, both in our own kitchens, and meal
that
prep
would be
something
fun.
together. Because yeah, watching you in your kitchen is a magical experience in itself.
Doesn't feel magical to me, but I'm glad
I know.
somebody feels it.
I know it doesn't when you have kids running around
Yep.
and dogs and fur
Yes.
babies. It's so
Yep.
fun.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to go ahead after the show. I will post up a thumbnail. I'll tag you in it, and then we'll have the action steps there. If people are wanting to share what they're celebrating, share their stories with the impact that CBD has had on their life, the action steps, and then that way Tina and I can go in and check the comments.
Mhm.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank
Okay.
you so much. This has been fun.
You're so welcome. The tools, support, accountability that you need to live your happiest, healthiest life is just beyond the purple door. Will you open it? Love you guys.